Prokaryotes and Eukaryotes cells, a comparison. Introduction. The biological body of a human being is incredibly complicated. It is a working system made up of several organs and tissues. Prokaryotes and eukaryotes are the two classes into which all biological organisms may be divided based on the basic makeup of their respective cells. Prokaryotes are microorganisms comprising cells that do not have nuclei or any organelles that are surrounded by membranes. It follows that prokaryotes' DNA is not contained within a nucleus. Bacteria and archaea are the two categories into which biologists have separated prokaryotes. Eukaryotes are microorganisms consisting of cells that include membrane-bound organelles and a nucleus that houses genetic makeup. A normal eukaryotic cell is encased in a plasma membrane. It comprises several organelles and structures that serve various purposes, including mitochondria and chromosomes. The cell membrane, also known as the plasma membrane and the cytoplasm, are the two fundamental components of all prokaryotic and eukaryotic organisms. The cell's outer surface, the plasma membrane, isolates the organism from the outside surroundings. Prokaryotes have more simplistic cells than eukaryotes do, nevertheless. For instance, eukaryotic cells have nuclei, but prokaryotic cells do not. Eukaryotes have internal cellular bodies, whereas prokaryotes do not. A component known as the cell wall is found outside the cell surface in many eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Cell walls sustain organisms and aid in their ability to withstand mechanical forces, but because they are not rigid, things can flow through them quite readily. As with cellular membranes, cell walls are hardly a selective mechanism. Mitosis and meiosis. Cells have multiple ways to increase in size for an organism to expand. Either they need to duplicate to make new cells, or they should increase in number. Prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells divide their cells, but they do it in various ways. Mitosis and meiosis are the two ways that cells split and procreate. Somatic cells undergo mitosis, implying that every cell type whose function is not the generation of gametes goes through this process. Meiosis produces four-sex cells, whereas mitosis produces two similar daughter cells. Meiosis is a unique type of cell division that is preserved in eukaryotes and is specifically adapted for the creation of gametes. Every gamete is biologically distinct since the DNA of the mother cell is jumbled before the cell splits. Gametes have twice as many chromosomes as the different cell types in the body. Prokaryotic reproduction. Binary fission is a method of cell division used by prokaryotes to reproduce. This procedure includes splitting one cell into two and replicating the chromosome, just as mitosis in eukaryotes. As an asexual reproduction method, binary fission does not produce sperm and eggs or combine the genetic information of two parties. Binary fission creates offspring cells biologically similar to the parent cell, except for periodic modifications to the DNA pattern. In general, prokaryotes multiply a lot more quickly than multicellular eukaryotes. The time between the births of one generation and the next may be calculated using the concept of generation time. Conclusion. In conclusion, tissues are made up of cells, which are the fundamental components of the body and create the specialized structures known as organs. Eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells are identical and different in several aspects. Eukaryotic organisms have a nucleus, whereas prokaryotes lack a nucleus. Additionally, although eukaryotes have several chromosomes, prokaryotes only have one. Eukaryotic cells reproduce by mitosis, whereas prokaryotic cells use binary fission.